Welcome to Choices. My name is Cameron Moffatt. If you've watched the show in the past, you'll realize that we try to bring to you, the viewers, a choice in your healthcare. And today we have an interesting idea on the body, mind, and soul connection. It's a term that we hear used often in healthcare, and it's often hard to define. And the guest we have on the show today is going to help us define what that connection is and how she actually works with the body, mind, and soul connection. So Nancy Kreitz has been working with people for about 15 years now and helping them empower themselves, actually find vibrant health, and continue to help them search out their spiritual empowerment or path. You've been doing some holistic training with some masters in homeopathy, I understand, biotherapeutic drainage, and also spring Forest Qi Gong and homeopathy.
Correct.
You've been busy.
I've been very busy. It's a passion.
Welcome to the show, Nancy.
Thank you, Cameron. It's really lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
I'm honored
So
to be here.
let's start there with that idea of the body, the soul, and the mind, and the connection between it. It's often used, but very seldomly ever defined.
Well, I like to address that in terms of we're multidimensional beings.
Okay.
So we do have this physical body as we're on this planet at this point in time.
Sure.
And we have our emotions and our beliefs, which really drive a lot of how we live every day.
Okay.
And then there's the spiritual connection, or the soul, or whatever word you'd like to use for that. But we do have a higher energy. And it's important to understand that, while thinking about traditional Chinese medicine, for example, if there's an imbalance or a blockage on any one of those levels, it will manifest, or it may manifest on any of the other levels as a symptom.
Okay.
So for example, headaches. You know, headaches are not caused from a lack of aspirin.
True enough.
You know,
True.
Headaches usually have a source other than the pain that's in your head. It could be
Right.
stress, could be food sensitivity, could be worry, it could be all kinds of things. So my job is like a detective. I like to get in and do the research and see what's underlying. I go to the root, the underlying cause of the symptom. And if we can remedy that, bring the body back into homeostasis or balance, everything starts to flow, just like a lovely, healthy stream, just flowing.
Vibrant health.
Vibrant health. And as life happens, a little bit of stress, poor food, water, viruses, bacteria, whatever it might be, we develop what we call blockages or an imbalance in the system. And it can, again, be an emotional shock, an emotional trauma. It can be maybe a little bit of spiritual discord. You haven't taken quite enough time.
Excuse me for a second. I'm curious about that. How would that look to you as a practitioner? What examples have you seen of spiritual discord in people?
Well, spiritual discord to me is people who are not connected. So,
Something other than themselves.
well, or to their heart.
To their heart,
And to
okay.
me, like, you know, speaking about a little bit about Qigong here, when you smile, you connect to your heart.
Sure.
And when you're connected to your heart, you have a direct line
Okay.
to the universe, or however we would like to call that.
So what would the person who's not connected look like to you as a practitioner? What do you look for as a sign?
They could be scattered. They could be lacking purpose. They could be very depressed, and all kinds of keeping busy and finding hobbies isn't doing it. It's like they need some spiritual nurturing, some nourishment. I call that soul nourishment.
Right.
And so even for everyone that's different, it could be a formal meditation practice. It could be something like Qigong. It could be simply sitting quietly, reading a book, or knitting, or going for a walk in nature.
Okay. What about the idea of just smiling more?
That helps too.
Sure. Okay. So those are all the things, that's how you start making the connection then between the body, the mind, and the soul
Exactly.
as a practitioner or detective.
Yeah, and a little bit of intuition after so many years. You can read it
Right.
pretty well.
So I mentioned in the intro you've been doing this for 15 years.
Yes.
What brought you to this?
Well, I myself have always been very passionate about great food. I used to bake my own bread before I realized I was gluten intolerant, but baking bread, making my own yogurt, you know, all of those things.
Sure.
That was my life, was my food and my garden, and had a market garden greenhouse business for a while. But I had I had chronic fatigue fibromyalgia, and I was like, how can this be? Because I eat such an amazing diet. That's my focus. And a friend of mine kept saying, you need to supplement. I'm like, I don't, because look at how I eat. So anyway, it did happen that the pain had become disabling. And I was going from osteopath to chiropractor to acupuncture, everywhere looking for solutions, and I wasn't finding it.
Right.
So I did decide to give a supplement a try, and I did some research, and I found a supplement company that I felt I could trust and rely on. And I began to take this basic. It's a multivitamin, which is actually 2 bottles.
Okay. And the name of the company is?
It's Usana Health Sciences.
Usana. Good. Okay.
And so this is 2 bottles. I began to take these, and within 2 weeks, well, my headaches got worse at first because these actually enter the cell. Most supplements, to be honest, do not.
Do not. That's correct.
Maybe
that's
don't
true.
even dissolve. So as the good comes in, the bad has to leave, right?
So you were detoxing a little bit.
I was
then.
detoxing, so
Sure.
I kept quitting, and then I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna do this.
I hear of that a lot.
Yes, exactly, because it's not great to feel worse. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I don't have a headache. And then my body aches improved, and slowly but surely everything improved. And I threw in a really powerful antioxidant, which is kind of like putting a screen on your fireplace in terms of oxidative stress, but that's a whole other conversation.
Sure.
And with that, it was like poof, body pains, joint, tissue, all that, so much better.
You were feeding the cells.
I was nourishing the cells,
Right.
absolutely.
Now, why do you think your garden and your dedication to preparing all the various foods wasn't meeting your needs? What was the difference?
Well, okay, that takes it to another level. After having had such an amazing response to supplementation, I began to do a lot of research, and I studied to be a registered holistic nutritionist with Canadian School of Natural Nutrition.
Okay.
And through my studying, I learned about dysbiosis, or leaky gut syndrome, you may have heard of.
Sure.
And it's related to just an unhealthy balance in the gut, stripped by all kinds of reasons.
Right.
Who knows? Everyone's different.
Right.
And again, this takes me back to my philosophy. As the more I studied, the more I realized we are all individual. We are all unique, which we know, but you can't paint everyone with the same paintbrush.
There isn't one diet as good for everybody,
Exactly.
is there?
Or one supplement, one supplementation protocol. So what I like to do, these I call my baseline supplements. These are basic. They help almost everyone. And I do energetic testing. This is the flagship. It tests well all the time.
Right.
So people can just come and get them from me without
An appointment?
an appointment or having to get a professional protocol.
Okay.
So that's why these are so accessible.
Right.
Then I work on a deeper level with the homeopathic remedies, and I really love the undas. The unda remedies are 76, and these are energetics, so they work on all 3 dimensions. This we're working mainly on the body, and if you don't have a healthy body, you know, life is not good.
True, exactly. It starts with the body, doesn't it? If your body's not doing well, you can try to have a spiritual practice or an emotional
Yeah.
health and you won't have it.
And yet, the better you feel, I mean, then there's a sense of wellness that comes along with that,
Sure.
emotional,
Of course,
and the spiritual, perhaps, depending.
Okay.
But I myself have really learned the importance, Cameron, of not taking too many supplements, even if they're natural. You know, there's a real tendency out there, there's a real confusion and overwhelm. Read the latest health monthly magazine, and that's me, and that was me,
Right.
you know, running out, and then I'd buy whatever it might be. And the first thing that I do when people come to see me is I say, please bring along anything that you're taking at this time. And then I do some energetic testing, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, you're going to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Nancy's going to demonstrate an example of energetic testing for us, and you'll be able to then pinpoint what my body's actually speaking
We'll
about.
have a look.
We'll try.
We'll
Yeah.
have a look.
Okay.
But I do want to say that as a holistic practitioner, I was really super busy. I was living in another city. I had a very busy practice. And I was given a supplement, a natural supplement, that I trusted the practitioner who gave it to me. And it caused me to suffer 3 strokes.
Okay.
So I'm very, very aware of how important it is that what you put into your body is just the right fit for you.
So your example then, that practitioner must not have muscle tested you because your body would have spoken. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you use muscle testing now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So not too much, just the right amount and the right quality.
Right.
And again, everyone's unique. So you have to be very cautious.
Okay. All right. So what does your typical session look like? How does it work?
Well, I like to have a chat
Right.
kind of like what we're doing now. Hear a little bit about what's going on in someone's life. Are they happy? Are they enjoying their job? Are they fulfilled? What are their stressors? What does their diet look like? Their sleep, their energy, their appetite, digestion, mood.
Right.
All of those things tell me a lot. Those are all indicators.
Sure.
We call that symptomatology as well. What's happening? And then from there I get a pretty good picture as to what is going on. And then I like to take it further. I may do auricular therapy, which is quite an in-depth energetic testing. Or I may do kinesiology, which is just muscle testing, which is also very effective in terms of narrowing down what supplements or what products may, to create the protocol, Cameron.
Right,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah.
So you would use a combination perhaps of physical supplement plus also energetic homeopathics. Is there anything else you use in your practice for treating?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I love Qigong, and I actually lead a few sessions here in Victoria. And Qigong is an amazing practice. And through all of my studies, every practitioner who was leading, every master I worked with said, but you know what's really healing? Qigong. So if I can get people even breathing, like this smiling and breathing, even that, breathing right down into what we call the lower dantian, or the area deep in behind your navel, it's a powerful energy center, just breathing and smiling, you can just feel yourself relaxing right away. So I do like to get some sort of a spiritual or a calming practice, if you will, in place. And if Qigong is not the fit, then they may prefer sitting meditation or...
For those folks at home, can you spell Qigong for them?
Yes, I can. QI, so it's deceptive. It's QIGONG. So Qi means energy, and Gong means working. So this is working with your, Qigong works with your body's energy. It's like acupuncture without needles.
Without needles. But it is movement though, right?
It's
It is movement.
There's gentle, I'd call it moving meditation, and there's guided, so it's the breath, there's visualization, there's movement, there's a few different elements to that as well.
Many layers.
Many layers, that's right.
Okay. And so you teach that as well in the city here?
Yes, I do.
And you use that as an adjunct to tap into perhaps if the person wants to go there, a spiritual connection?
What I really love about Qigong, Cameron, is that it's like a ticket, a really easy access to the spirit or to your soul, to the divine, whatever term works
like
for
the
you.
Monopoly game, the get out of jail free card.
Yeah, and you just
Everybody needs one.
People are amazed. They come to the first session even and they're like, I can't believe it. I can feel this energy. I can feel this. And it's great.
So speaking of energy, you're going to, in a few moments, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And then you're going to show me some energy movements, and you're going to test me using kinesiology muscle testing.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'd like to have your viewers do a little energy game with me.
Okay, we can do that as well.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll have a little bit of energy movement. All right, thank you.
Thank you.